Hey sewing friends, I'm really excited today because I just got in the mail a fabric that has been out of print for several years, and I've been on the hunt, and I found it secondhand, as well as some other goodies that I've thrifted or picked up from the market. So I wanted to share this kind of mini like secondhand slash market finds. So I've got fabric. I've also got a couple of little like crafty bits that I got secondhand. So I am really excited to share them with you and want some opinions for patterns or just like general garment ideas, as well as some help prioritizing, because I already set out my summer plans. I really don't have a whole lot of time before my trip this summer, but some of these might just need to like jump the queue, cut in line so that I can get them actually made for my trip. So let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion and yeah, with some help prioritizing. So I'm going to start with the fabrics and then I'll put in chapters. So I know a lot of you aren't really here for the like embroidery cross stitch side of things, and that's totally fine. So I'll just like put those a little bit separate, and we'll do my secondhand and then like market find fabrics first. Starting, of course, with this absolute gem of a fabric. Now, this print is a Liberty Tana lawn called Nirvana, and it's been out of print for years. I've talked on here before about how I love, love, love Liberty Tana lawns. However, they're quite expensive, just generally. And also, their main collection is not really my preference. There are a lot of really very beautiful, but very like dainty, soft florals, and that is not really my jam. I think it is gorgeous on other folks. I think it is in itself, like on the roll, really, really beautiful, but it just doesn't really suit my style. But every couple of years, they will like throw in a really quirky print, something that's like a bit more silly, a bit more whimsical, and kind of, yeah, outside of that like very dainty, very feminine style floral. And this one is from a couple years ago, and it is called Nirvana. I have been like on the hunt for this for ages, and I am so excited. Like I've literally had it in my basket before on like secondhand sites and then got outbid at the last minute, or like the sale fell through. So this is the third time I have tried to buy this fabric secondhand, and it is finally like in my hands. I honestly like wanted to make a video about this before I even received it, but then I was like, no, something might happen. The order could get canceled and then I would be crushed just like last time. But it's finally in my hands, and it is every bit as good as I hoped it was going to be. It has these like mountain desert scenes on it with like even like vintage like motel signs and like roadways. I think it is so fun. I am actually going to the Sierra Nevadas this summer. So yeah, this very much reminds me of like retro kind of like 70s Hollywood, or even like Southwest kind of vibes. Now, I am from California, but I'm from Northern California, but I grew up like making trips down south. My grandparents were in Reno, so like, yeah, more in the mid Sierra Nevadas, but still definitely like desert. So it's a bit nostalgic, but also like these colors are so good, and I love them so much. I was really debating what I was going to make with this because there's only 2 meters. I absolutely would have gotten more if that had been available, but I'm not gonna like keep waiting out to try to see if I can collect more from somewhere else. I do really want to get this made up. Like I said, I am going to the Sierra Nevadas this summer, and I think it would be really fun to take this as like a cute little party going out outfit. So I'm thinking with 2 meters, I know I can get like a little strappy mini dress out of it, and I think that that would be amazing in this. But there is a part of me that is like, maybe I should do something a bit more practical, something that I will wear more often. Because as much as I love a strappy mini dress, I do really only wear them like in the summer, whereas something like a midi skirt or a blouse, I could wear probably like spring, summer, fall and actually get a bit more wear out of it. But yeah, I'm kind of weighing like, do I go with what the heart wants, or do I go for something that is maybe not as like peak what I want, but that I will get to enjoy more frequently is the question. So I kind of have to weigh that out and decide it, but it is so, so pretty. Again, the colors are just amazing. They're so, so fun. Yeah, so let me know what you think I should do. Follow my heart or be more practical. So while I was on the hunt for this Liberty print, I came across another Liberty that is in a substrate that I have not really had a ton of experience with before. And so this is a like athletic lycra. So it is by stretch and yeah, meant for like either swim or athletic wear. And I've really only worked with like kind of budget or like cheaper athletic fabrics before. So I was curious to try like what a, you know, like a quality brand, because I mean, I know how much I love the quality of other Liberty fabrics. I'm assuming that it would, obviously it's a different type, it does different things, but I'm assuming the level of quality should be somewhat on par. So again, it was secondhand, so I got a fairly good deal on it, more so definitely better than a lot of like the name brand athletic / swimwear fabrics I'm seeing around in the shops. So I'm quite curious about it. I will report back how it sews up and wears once I make something out of this. But yeah, I have a little over 2 meters of this. I don't think I'm really ready to make swimwear, to be honest. But like I said, I'm going to the Sierra Nevadas this summer, wanting to do a whole bunch of hiking. So I was thinking that a Seamwork Wallis is in order, perhaps. I've made a couple of these over the years. I don't have one that currently fits me, but it's a like athletic dress with like built-in shorts. So you kind of put it on like a romper. And I really, really love these for, yeah, for hiking, for like paddle boarding and like other water activities where you don't really want to be as exposed as just like in a swimsuit because you're not fully like swimming. And I want like a little bit more practical coverage. And then also, yeah, for working out, for hiking, etc. I really love a little athletic, either a skirt or an athletic dress. So initially I was thinking the Wallis for this, but then I was kind of wondering maybe I ought to make separates because the print is quite busy. It's a bit extreme, and I do have an athletic fabric in my stash that is kind of like this bright green color that I think would be really cute to mix and match. So this is one where like I've got some good ideas, I think, but I'm not ready to just like jump over my current project queue the way I was for this one. I would like to get something made out of this before my trip because I think it would be very useful, again, very practical, but I'm not 100% sold yet if I should do a dress or if I should do like more athletic separates. So my last secondhand fabric find is a bit of a flop, and I'll tell you why. It's fully on me, but I had set myself this like kind of guideline that in order to not be like super overwhelmed by the whole vast world of secondhand fabric online, I was just going to look at like branded fabrics, ones that I had either worked with before or at least like touched physically before, like in a shop or with a friend, that kind of thing. And that whole strategy kind of failed me because I forgot that Cloud9, whom I have loved in the past. I've had their modal rayons a couple of times. I have touched in person their cotton batiste that is lovely. That's what I thought this was, because I just saw Cloud9 100% cotton, and I forgot that like the apparel side of their line is actually like the smaller part. Cloud9 mostly does quilting cottons, and so that is what I got. And I'm pretty bummed because it means it's not going to work for the project that I wanted, and really is probably just not going to work for me generally because it has so much of this black background, and cat hair tends to stick, it just loves to stick to a quilting cotton. And yeah, I have a white, very, very fluffy, sheddy kitty that I just think this is going to get like absolutely plastered if I were to try to make a garment from this, or yeah, any kind of like home decor. Anything is just going to, I think, be like a frustrating uphill battle to keep it looking nice. So I think this is probably going to be a resell. Like I think I'm just going to relist this one, which is such a shame because I think it is so, so pretty. I love this print. I had gotten this with the idea that it might be a candidate to replace my glorious, dramatic, vintage inspired red circle skirt that I butchered last year. So that was on my Make 9 idea list of like to somehow kind of replicate something with those same vibes. The fabric is like long gone, definitely not available anymore, but to have something with like drama and vintage flair, something that like kind of captures that essence. And I thought that this print got really close. But yeah, again, in a quilting cotton, it's not going to have the same like structure and fluidity to it. And it's also just going to be like an absolute cat hair magnet. So this was my thrift secondhand fabric flop. Probably going to relist this as much as it pains me because it is so, so beautiful, but alas, it is just not for me. So a couple weeks ago, I had the absolute joy of meeting up with several other sewists from around the Netherlands, and we all went to the Lapjesmarkt, which is a big open air fabric market that is every Saturday in Utrecht. And it was so much fun. We like got coffee all together before, we did some shopping, and then we all had lunch and then did a little bit more. A couple of us went off and did some like secondhand shopping afterwards. It was so wonderful. It was one of those days that like I walked away so tired, but like it just really like fills my cup whenever we get together. We try to do something, or well, we have like 4 events a year, and so this was our like summer event. It was so, so fun, like I said. And I went in with a couple of guidelines for myself because I know at this particular market things are really, really beautiful and things are really, really cheap, and I can just go crazy. And after I did my big like de-stash last spring, I didn't want to just like keep buying more fabrics and like undo the progress that I made. And what we ended up doing as a group, everyone set their fabric budget, but in fabric length rather than like money spent, because some of the stuff at the market is like €1 a meter, or sometimes even less. I once bought a fabric, I got 4 meters for $1. Like, it was crazy. So setting a budget in meters, in how much space it's going to take up, in what are we adding to like our either like physical, you know, storage, or even like our mental load. So we all set a little pledge ahead of time. And then at the end, we made a little video of like, what did we actually buy? Super fun. And I went out with the idea of 6 meters. I was really hoping to find a fabric for frock tails, but I didn't quite find anything for that. But I did stick within my 6 meter budget, just barely. I went with 6 meters. I got 3 fabrics. One of them I already made up and shared in a video, I think last week, with the little bows. It was a cotton poplin. And then these are the other two fabrics that I got. So this one, all three of these came from a little stall that claimed to be dead stock Max Mara. No way to like really source if that is true or not, but they all were really nice, higher quality fabrics. One big section was cotton, and then the other section was like viscose and silk. So I bought two cottons, the poplin with the bows on it, and then this really lovely lawn that honestly like feels really, really similar to a Liberty. Like it has that same weight and fluidity. So this, yeah, I didn't do an actual burn test on it, but it really feels like, really feels like Liberty. It's got that same kind of subtle sheen to it. It does not, I always do a little like test to see if I get any static cling to see if it's polyester or a poly mix. This one didn't get any of that. It is, again, I haven't done a burn test, but I am like very, very sure that this is 100% cotton. It doesn't have the cooling effect that viscose does, and it doesn't have any static the way a poly or nylon would. So this is lovely. I got it to make in the winter. I want to make a little Helmi blouse to wear specifically under a sweater that is like exactly this light blue, kind of cornflower blue color. I think that'll be really, really cute. I think it'll go very, very nicely with my more like fall, winter, spring wardrobe. It'll be a really nice layering piece. I could wear it on its own, but yeah, mostly I'm thinking of that little like peek through collar moment will be really, really cute. So that is going to be a Helmi blouse with this cotton lawn. So the third fabric that I picked up at the market, I was kind of regretting my 6 meter limit that I put on myself, because it meant I had to either choose between a dress length in this fabric or that one of the other fabrics like would just get on the chopping block, because I wanted long sleeve blouse lengths for both of the like bow cotton poplin that I already made up, and then of this cotton lawn. So I knew I wanted 2 full meters of both of those. I don't regret that, but it did mean that I had to stick with 2 meters for this gorgeous viscose twill. And I did really wish that I had like said 7 or 8, because I would have gotten more of this if I hadn't said that. But I was like, no, I just really want to stick to my budget for once, because it is very easily, especially when I am with like shopping in person and shopping in person like with friends, my what is that called? My like discernment level just kind of drops. And I just like, I don't want to make an actual decision. So I will just make no decisions and buy everything. I figured that out last spring when I did my big fabric destash. So going into this outing, again, with friends I only get to see a couple times a year, I really wanted to keep that in mind, and I was a little bummed because it meant I could only get 2 meters of this gorgeous viscose twill. I think they look like moons is what they remind me of. Like they're definitely kind of an abstract dot. I'm not usually like a big polka dot person, but this one with the kind of like abstract shape and this hunter green, I really, really love this. So the thing about only having 2 meters is that it does definitely like narrow the scope of what I can do with it. So again, rather than just buying a whole bunch more because I don't want to make a choice, I now have like limited myself, which is probably a good thing. But I'm not sure if I want like a blouse, or I could make a skirt. I think it's something I would wear a lot as either of those separates. I was leaning toward a blouse. I was leaning toward maybe like the Patina blouse from Friday Pattern Company, or, oh, there was another one. What was it? There were 2 that I was kind of going back and forth on. And then I also was thinking about the Ella dress from Pattern Scout that I mentioned in my summer sundress video, because that one is cut on the bias and that one does only take 2 meters. So I could try that out with this one, but I'm not sure. And if I do a blouse, like that's something I can maybe make a bit later on in the year. Whereas if I want it to be a dress, then I probably want that like for summer going into fall. And I don't know that I have like room. Yeah, I don't know that I have room with all the other projects that I want to do before my trip. So I think this one is just gonna go on my shelf for now, but let me know what you think. If you think it should be a blouse or a skirt or a dress. So I may have gone a little bit crazy. It was a revelation to me how cheap people are selling their unopened, brand new embroidery and cross stitch kits. And so I bought 4 of them. I bought 2 embroidery kits and 2 cross stitch kits, and I'm so excited. I've already started a couple of them, so I don't have them all like neatly in the packaging anymore. But I'll start with the 2 cross stitch kits. Yeah, you can't see very much there, but it's going to be this really cute little caravan desert scene. I'm very much into desertness right now, as you can tell with like the fabric, with this guy, and then also with, I hope you can see this. If not, I'll put in a actual photo because yeah, the glare of the plastic's pretty bad. But this is like a motel for Route 66 with like, again, some like desert. So we have like daytime and nighttime desert travel kits here. And these are gonna go really, really nicely in my bedroom that I just painted. I'm really excited to do kind of like a painted hills, modern desert vibe in there. The walls are this really cool, like gray toned lilac color that like changes throughout the day. It's really, really gorgeous. And I really want some like kind of desert themed art there, probably above the bed. And then when we eventually get a new dresser on the other side, I'm thinking these will be really, really cute to hang on the wall or maybe like on a couple of shelves. So that's kind of a long way out, which is good because cross stitch takes forever. But I have these 2 new kits that I'm really excited to work on. So I found I really like having both a cross stitch project and an embroidery project on the go, because while cross stitch can get a little bit too repetitive, and also like sometimes I have to really focus on the count and everything, embroidery on the other hand like is so much more free form, and in that way it is, in that sense it's easier. But it's also something that I need to practice my accuracy a little bit more. And it is something that unfortunately like hurts my hands more so than cross stitch. So I can kind of only do it in like little bits at a time. So I really like having one of each like on the go. And so I'm really excited for these 2. This one I've already started and like getting kind of close. So this is the little packaging piece. All 4 are just like DMC ones, but this one is a little like sunset beach theme, which is really, really cute. I love these like pink and purple colors. So this is my progress. I've got the sun and the clouds. I need to do a few more waves and then it'll be the, like this whole thing is French knots, which that is going to take me an age because I can only do a few of those at a time before like my hands really start giving out. And then this whole section will be like bright orange sand. So I'm really excited about this one. Again, I'm going to just kind of like take my time through it while I work on those cross stitch projects, kind of like going back and forth in between. But yeah, I really, really love this one. And this one came with a bonus one. Someone was just selling like both kits and I wanted this one really bad. And this one, the other one, like it's also there. This one I wouldn't have chosen for myself on my, if it was on its own, but because they were just selling both of them, I didn't want to like haggle about it and I just took them both. And if nothing else, it'll be a good practice. I probably should have just started with this one, honestly, but I really just wanted to get into the cute one. So yeah, this one will be there for me when I just want like a little something to work on, a little something to practice. Particularly my satin stitches get a little unruly. Like they're so simple to do, or they're so simple to explain, I would say, but they do need a lot of practice. So I'll get to do that with this like little countryside scene. I do love the little fox though. He's so cute. So I have really enjoyed kind of the thrill of the hunt, I guess you could say, with thrifting and with looking secondhand for fabric and crafting supplies, as well as going to the market. Like that is always a really fun, yeah, it feels like a hunt, like, because a lot of it is terrible. But then there are some really, really good gems, and I think I found some really good ones this time around. So yeah, dead stock and secondhand thrifted fabrics has been really, really fun, especially when like where I've been too tired to do actual sewing. I think if I was looking at myself like a couple years ago, I would want to like engage with sewing. So I would look online at fabrics, and then I would end up buying a bunch of new fabrics. And I've been wanting to distance myself from that. So kind of doing the like secondhand route has been fun, where I still feel like I'm engaged with sewing when I don't actually have the energy to sew, but there's less out there. It is secondhand rather than buying new. And because I kind of treat it like I'm hunting for something, like I try to get really specific about it rather than like, oh, well, that one's on sale, so I'll just buy that one. Or, oh, well, this one could maybe be something, and then ending up with a full fabric stash and feeling like I have more fabric than I have time to sew, which is still the case. It's still the case. But I do feel like this is a good step away from my previous overconsumption habits. And yeah, it is a bit more fun. And then I feel like it's also cool to, yeah, to say like this is the fabric that I thrifted, or this is where I was really like, I discovered this in a whole pile of crazy fabric somewhere else. So I like that they kind of come with a little bit more of a story, and I think that'll be really fun when they are made up into garments and I get to wear them around. So yeah, that is what I've been up to. I definitely have enough fabric for the foreseeable future, both with a full queue of sewing plans for this season, but then also looking into next season as well. So I might pick up a few fabric souvenirs when I'm in the States, but for the most part, I'm going to be like pulling back, trying to, again, like honor what I already own. I'm gesturing as if you can see the shelf of fabric that is behind the camera. But yeah, so that's kind of my goals going into it, but I'm not just going cold turkey, no new fabric, because clearly, but still laying off of it for the next couple of months. So I am curious, of course, if you have had any luck with secondhand craft or sewing supplies, and if you have any tips or tricks. I would have said my one about like searching for fabric brands that you have some experience with, but you know, clearly that didn't work for me. It's not infallible for sure, but I do think it's kind of kept me like on the right track a little bit. So if you have any more tips and tricks like that, or yeah, what you look for in fabric, either that you're buying online just new, or that you are thrifting secondhand or online, like definitely let me know. Let's start a whole chat about that. And I'd love to know what you are working on, or what's inspiring you from your stash, or you know, from elsewhere. So let me know down in the comments, or you can find me on the like community tab of YouTube, or I'm also on Threadloop and Seamwork. So you can hit me up there, as well as Instagram, of course. And yeah, till next time. I hope you have a wonderful week of lots of sewing and creative endeavors. And until next time, happy making. Bye!